Hi, my name is Carl Harris. I'm the sales manager at Mindfull, and we're going to talk now a little bit about the data challenges that organizations face around data quality. Having understood the data landscape, what does that mean in terms of the data quality issues that organizations face? Becky, thanks for joining us again this afternoon, and William also. I guess I'll start really around what are some of the best practices around managing your data assets from a quality perspective that you've experienced through your program of work, Becky?
Gosh, that's a good question, Carl. Best practices are around having a good governance program in place, understanding what your data is, where it is, who consumes it, what the single source of the truth is, who owns it, what processes feed it into the systems. These are incredibly important to actually managing and maintaining a good quality data landscape. We don't do this particularly well. Many organizations don't do this particularly well. And it's really understanding the full life cycle of a piece of data, how it's created, how it's used, how you retire it. So there's huge challenges when you're looking at terabytes and terabytes of unstructured data within big corporate environments.
Interesting. You talk about terabytes of data there. I mean, did you find during the process of discovery that there were data assets you didn't even know existed that were suddenly coming out of the woodwork?
Absolutely. And of course, then there's the dread spreadsheet, right? and we have thousands of spreadsheets that have critical core data on it that only appear as a one-line item in some report somewhere, but they're managed manually. And these are the kind of things that come out of the woodwork to bite you when you're actually beginning to compile dashboards and reports.
And as you mentioned, those different aspects of understanding where your data comes from, who's using it, and making it easy for people to get access to that information and be able to see that, oh, this information actually comes from that system and I can trust it, is very valuable as well.
Absolutely.
And that ease of access, I guess, was there frustration in the business that they couldn't get what they needed, and so these spreadsheets were kind of workarounds and skunkworks projects to...
Yes, absolutely. We can't get what we need. The system doesn't provide what we need. So we will create a spreadsheet to be able to fill a requirement. And sometimes the very frightening thing is that those are client requirements or contract requirements. And to be able to validate and check that information is correct and is the truth is significantly important, because what you're doing is you're exposing yourself and your performance to your customers. So actually absolutely knowing that data is managed in an appropriate way becomes incredibly important to your margin.
And as you mentioned, the system doesn't do what I need. It's usually I don't know what the system does, so I'm just going to do my own thing. It's too difficult for me to go through the system or through the current framework.
Yes.
And sometimes making that easier for a customer to use the system and to understand what the system can do for them makes it easier for them to then trust the information.
I think it would be very fair to say that most of the business has no idea what data we have or what the wealth of information that we have in that data could mean to the business. Correct. We're seeing more and more in terms of our own customers that we win bids and tenders based on our ability to tell them, we can give you this information about your business, right? And so this is just becoming more and more important, is to be able to demonstrate your ability to actually produce this kind of valuable information about the jobs that you do and your own customers' networks.
Yeah, and I mean, we certainly see from a Mindfull perspective, organizations really recognizing the value of data as an asset. Like any asset, it depreciates over time, right? The value of that data is at its highest when it's the freshest, right? And
Yes.
We even see organizations now putting the data asset on their financial statements as
Absolutely.
a line item, as an intangible asset. We've got 20 million of data asset here, or whatever the number is.
Yes.
Would you say there's been an impact to the business and to your your leadership, your CIO, your CFO, of having good quality data available and to hand? Has that had an impact through to them?
Oh, yes, very much so. And I think it would be very fair to say that what it does is it actually exposes our performance, our behaviors to everyone. And it actually creates an environment where we can actually do noticeable improvement because everybody's just transparent. You know, there's one source of the truth. Everybody can see the playing field, and what we do is no longer hidden in a spreadsheet somewhere, and can be manipulated to reflect something that may not be accurate.
And has that led to, better decisions, improved efficiency? Are you able to tangibly say to your leadership team, we're making more money, or we're reducing our costs, or we're delivering better outcomes because of this?
Absolutely. And the increase on margins, many of the industries that we operate in are very low margin businesses, right? And so the ability to actually better utilize an asset, for example, so that you know that the asset's in the right place to be used at the right time. It's not sitting waiting somewhere. Some of the equipment we use is worth thousands and thousands of dollars a day if it's sitting idle, right?
Right.
So just the ability to expose that this piece of equipment is sitting somewhere when it could be being used elsewhere, and make that available to the people that are managing that asset is already bearing a great deal of fruit for the business.
So from a quality perspective then, William,
Yes.
how would organizations like Downer kind of start on that journey of driving a data quality program?
So you would set up a team of data stewards and data owners that own the systems, that take responsibility of the data within their core systems, and say that I'll take responsibility and drive the initiative to make the changes and make the correct governance changes around those systems. But you do need some application or some system to assist you. There's no way you can go through terabytes of data and find the bad stuff. Mm-hmm. So profiling the information, understanding it, and making that accessible to the data stewards and to the data analysts to have a look at it and say, wait a minute, this data doesn't look like it should be looking because the business definition is different. And then going back to those data owners and saying, drive an initiative in your business to change that.
So what's next for you then, Becky, on this data quality journey within Downer?
We need to implement our enterprise data catalog. We need to further develop our framework, our governance framework. I think it would be very fair to say it's a journey. Mm-hmm. It's a cultural shift in terms of people valuing their information as an asset. And when you work in a company that's service-based as we are, where we build things and we have large physical assets, to describe something that's virtual as an asset is problematic, right? I had a very interesting discussion with one of our key executives, and I said, look, people is our most important asset. Our data is our second most important asset. He said, oh, no. This big machinery that's worth millions of dollars is the second most important asset. Maybe data comes third. And so it's getting that mind shift that what is it actually worth to us to be able to actually mine and use, yeah, and know that it's representing something that allows our people to make good decisions.
Yeah. And the only way you can do that is by having that good quality of data, right? You need to be able to make sure and prove that it's good quality.
Yes.
Showing that lineage and that journey that data is taking of its lifespan. We've done this to it, we've done these processes, these are the policies we apply to ensure that our data is correct, and giving that trust to the people that make the decisions.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fascinating journey you're on, and we're excited to be part of it. So thank you, Becky, for sharing the details, and thanks, William.
Thank you.
Thank you.